Hi, this is Dmitri Bilgere, and I'd like to talk to you today about this question that when difficult things happen, do you find yourself staying on the path of darkness or getting onto the path of light? Let me tell you what I mean by this, because I've seen this in all sorts of traumatic situations, from light traumas to heavy traumas to all sorts of things. And once you know some of the sort of focus points, the pivot points of the question of which path are you on, you can actually start to make some decisions that will make a real difference for you. So let me tell you an example from me. I recently, a few months ago, got a root canal done. And I generally don't have a good time with dental work. For some reason, my body finds it very invasive and very upsetting. And shortly after I'd had this root canal done, I found that every injury or inflammation that I had in the last 10 or 15, 20 years, all were coming up at once. That everything in my body that had hurt in the last couple decades was hurting. Knee, foot, toe, neck, mouth, teeth, everything was hurting. And so I started looking at this in a healing process, the kind of work that I do. And I started looking at, well, what happened? And as I dug into it, I started to see that my body had experienced this root canal as an assault, as an attack. I hadn't been going through it with the feeling of like, wow, I'm so lucky to be able to have somebody working on me and really improving my health for me. My body didn't experience it that way. It's really like an attack, like an intimate physical assault was how I started to see that my body had responded to this happening. And because that had happened, the following had happened in my psyche. Like somewhere in my subconscious, I had said, because this has happened to me, I must be on a dark path with my health. And since I'm on a dark path with my health, all sorts of things were suddenly present and flaring up. And during the course of the healing work, I really clearly saw, wow, when this happened, when this kind of was done to me, I thought, therefore, I must be on a dark path. And I could see myself like walking in this dark path of health. And in the moment of that, I was able to say, you know, I have a choice. And I was able to gather myself up that had bought this dark idea and turn back to this light path. Feel like just because something bad had happened to me didn't mean I had to stay in that bad world. And it was like I came home again. And as that light opened up in me, immediately after the healing, within 10, 15 minutes, immediately, 90% of the pain that I was experiencing was gone. And then over the course of the next month, the rest of it all went away. As I really felt like I was kind of back on walking the path of light again. Now, this is something we see all the time. It isn't so much what happened to you. This is my friend Jim Skeely likes to say, it isn't what happened to you that's a problem. It's what remains afterwards is a problem. And what had remained afterwards for me was this idea that now I had to be walking this dark path with my health. And this kind of thing happens on all sorts of levels. I was talking to my wife Fawn this morning, and she's currently taking a math class, combinatorics, very difficult mathematics. And she's been struggling with it. In fact, she failed the last midterm. And she said to me, I'm upset. I've got a few days left before the final, and I really want to feel good about it. I want to feel like encouraged and inspired so I can really bring my best self to it. But because I've been having a hard time and because I failed the last midterm, I feel like I'm on this dark path where this is going to be a difficult struggle that ends in pain. And as we talked, she started to see, yeah, I have bought that idea too. I have turned myself into this dark world and stepped towards it. And maybe I don't have to do that. The awareness of that, coupled with the awareness that maybe she didn't have to do it, enabled her to start saying, you know what? Maybe I can turn back to the path of light. Is it really true that I am stuck continuing in darkness because I've been in darkness? No, it's not. Wow. And as she started to relax into, I don't have to stay on this path just because I've been on it, she started to see, you know, I'm actually a really good person to be in this situation. Because even though I failed that last exam, I do know a lot about what's going on. And I do really enjoy this kind of mathematics. And I can really, in fact, be in this in a way that I really enjoy. And so she started her day able to study on a new path. one thing that I think happens to us is something hits us, some trauma or some difficulty, and for whatever reason, we set our North Star to what we're going to sail to. And when something bad happens, our sort of knee-jerk reaction is to say, this wouldn't have happened to me if I wasn't on a path where the North Star was in a very bad place. So I'm going to sail to that now. I want to encourage you to start to say, okay, I may be in this place in my life where I'm discouraged, where I've given up, where I think that I'm just stuck for a dark path because dark things have happened to me. And ask yourself, is it really true that because I've been on this path, I have to stay on it? And what would it be like if I opened myself to just the question, what would a path of light be like here? And can I start looking for that? Can I set my North Star to the path of light rather than to continuing in the darkness? I know this is a very fast way to do this, but once you start to see that you have some choice as to what path you believe you're on, as to where you set your North Star, to the dark or to the light, you'll be able to start to see how it makes a difference. So I want to encourage you to let me know what you think about this in the comments. Let me know if you have any questions about it. This is Dmitri Bilgere, signing off.